Well, guys, welcome in to another live stream here Thursday night. I wasn't going to stream tonight, but I decided to. Why not? I'll just go 7 to 9 again probably tonight for my live stream. Trump is going to London for the crypto summit. I didn't even know there was a crypto summit in London. I think he's taking advantage of the Bitcoin price all-time high, bullish for the market, so he keeps talking about it. What is it at right now? 111? 111K. BTC all-time high. I think it'll keep making new highs, so we'll have to see. But nuclear energy. Big announcement. Did you see how mad China was after Trump announced the Golden Dome? Yeah, they said he's weaponizing space. It's a defense, a missile defense system. They're angry about it. They think that it's going to give the United States significant advantage, and it is. To me, I think it's obvious that we need something like that. The only way we can be touched is through getting hit with a nuclear bomb or getting hit with an EMP or getting hit with ballistic missile. They say the hypersonic ballistic missiles can travel extremely quickly. We'd like to have some type of defense against that rather than just NORAD. Ilhan Omar refuses to condemn the DC killing of the Christian Israeli diplomat and his girlfriend. Yeah, remember that? That came out last night, the story of that. And everyone was like, well, it's a false flag. It's like all these people run to Twitter, and who can be the fastest to call it a false flag? There's like a race. Did you see BB is pissed? Yeah, I saw his video, his speech. It just, that stuff's not going to work in the United States here. Israel is, there's a lot different of opinions in the United States on Israel nowadays than there were 10, 15 years ago. I just think it falls on deaf ears in the West in general. Even in the European countries, they're trying to force some type of agreement. I think they'll talk about it at the G7 probably. Frank, what's up, man? Russia already has space-based weapons we need to keep up. Well, and it just, I mean, this is a defense. It's a missile defense system, so if the only way we are susceptible to being attacked is through the air, why would we not defend that, considering we've got $1 trillion military budget? It's going to be $1 trillion as long as this Trump's bill gets passed. Hassan is getting blamed for the incident in DC. Well, because of the rhetoric. I mean, but under that coin, you could blame anyone for anything based off of. I don't know about that, man. I mean, that's when they start trying to censor speech because of incidents that happen and stuff. I don't think it's a good precedent to set. Did you see Trump raised 600 million for the midterms and they already have a goal of 1 billion, $600 million? Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the midterms are a ways away, but I heard they were doing well in terms of the funding for it. The whole world was talking about white genocide yesterday. Now everyone's focused on the 2 dead Jews. Come on now. I don't know, man. I feel like there's so many Israeli detractors in the United States. There's really not this. I don't really see this, oh, this is such a huge moment. I mean, obviously, people dying is sad and stuff, but a lot of people are like, well, this is sad, but we're not going to cause a collateral effect because of this single incident, to where it's like, I don't think there's a lot of support within the country for Israel. It doesn't feel like that, even after what happened with that. It's just you know there's catalysts that push us to do certain things, and people they recognize, they understand this could be a potential catalyst, and they're saying no, it's not going to happen. We're not going to allow it. Come on. I mean, but I haven't seen anything. I think they really jumped the gun when they're like, oh, it's they're going to blame it on Iran. I haven't seen that anywhere. This is a Palestine nut who's a liberal. That's why they're blaming Hassan, because he's like a left wing communist socialist who did it. From what I saw. Do you think Caroline Levitt comes off as annoying? I haven't watched a ton of her. I saw her today. I'm gonna go to a video of her. She got in a spat with this black lady. The black lady's like, "Well, Trump was lying. He said that there were graves, and they're not graves." And so she got into a spat with some black chick, some black old lady, White House correspondent for MSNBC, I'm sure, or some liberal network. Do you think you could beat Benny Johnson in a debate? I don't know. I thought he was right wing. What would the debate be on? Do you think Walmart will eat the tariffs? They really should, since they have decades of growth and generated billions in revenue. Yeah, but their margins are really low. That's why. So even they get hit with a 30% tariff, because what it is now, it's down to 30 on everything. Their margins are razor thin. Why do you think all their shit is so cheap? That's why they had to rate. They were talking about raising prices. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll be able to. They just have so many stores, and just, I mean, they must mass buy so much crap from China. It's insane. It's all cheap too. But I mean, most of our shit comes from China, so if we're gonna say that's cheap, it's like everything in the country to a degree is cheap. But I don't know. I think they will. But that's what Trump does. He intimidates these people. He intimidated Walmart. He intimidated Bezos and Amazon. But I think with Walmart, it's a problem because their margins are already, because they're able to suppress their prices so much. It's based on the amount of stores that they have. You can run really thin margins if you have just so many stores, and to where if you're making just a little bit everywhere, it adds up, as opposed to other chains that don't have as many stores. Their margins are going to be a bit different. But I don't know. I think maybe he'll get him to. There's a lot of intimidation with Trump. That's kind of what he does to get his way, and it's something that you can respect as a business person for him to do that. Did you watch the Knicks game? I mean, I saw the ending of it. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I don't know how that shot went in from Halliburton. Gotta go. All right, man. I'll see ya. Have a good weekend. Well, yeah, tomorrow is Friday. That's true. You know, you get older, the weekend. I mean, I guess for depending on the job, really. But for me, the weekend is not a big dip. Well, it is kind of different, I guess, a little bit. But it's, I do videos on the weekend as well. But you can. There is a difference to Friday to Saturday, Sunday. When you're younger, man, there's a huge. The weekend is so important. Did you see Rand Paul gonna vote no on the bill? Well, it's not surprising. Massey already voted no, and he raised a bunch of money. That's what it is with Massey. It's all a charade and he brags about it. He's like, we raised $23,000. Like, come on, dude, really? It passed by a single vote. With 215 to 214. When does no tax on tips go into effect? When this gets passed? No tax on tips is interesting. They still have to pass it through the Senate. But I mean, they've got 53 Republicans. There'll be some detractors, but I think it'll get through. Can we get a Minute Maid sponsored stream? Ha! Minute Maid would have to send me some. No, I don't really do. I don't do sponsorships, man. I mean, I like what I like, but I'm not gonna take money from people to do that. You have a 3 day weekend. Is there a Memorial Day? Is that what we're looking at on Monday? The 26th would be Memorial Day. How are the Doge savings looking? Elon Musk did an interview where he was very dejected about it. He was saying they couldn't touch certain sectors. He's leaving the political space. He's not going to be donating much anymore. He's pouting a little bit. So it'll probably go away with Elon. Like he seems frustrated that they couldn't do much. Kermit the Frog is giving the commencement speech tonight, the University of Maryland. Well, yeah, they're doing all of that. It's that time of the year, isn't it? The college graduations. Is my mic too low or not? Because I can fix it, honestly, if it's too low. I feel like it's not, but somebody said it was. Can you do another 9/11 video this week? It's a video in relation to 9/11. I'm gonna finish it tonight. It'll probably be out tomorrow, as long as it's gonna get flagged, but it'll probably get through the ads tomorrow, hopefully, and I'll be able to get out. It's on the Bojanka plot. It's predates 9/11. It's a 1995 plot involving the architect, who was not Osama bin Laden, by the way, the architect of 9/11 and his nephew. It's an interesting story. Hopefully, I'll be able to. The mic is good. All right. Hopefully, I'll be able to get it passed through. If it doesn't get passed through, I'll upload it probably to the members. But I'm hoping it'll get passed through, because that's a lot more money if it gets passed through the ad checks. Great streams as always. Thanks, Colton. I appreciate it, man. But we'll take a look at some of this. I saw this. I was like, wow. So it really is improving. You could always do a video on this. Maybe I'll do a video on this tomorrow. It's just like an easy video to do, talking about Trump's approval rating and then a few other topics. And this actually is improving pretty significantly. I know there's an insider advantage poll that's really holding Trump up. It's like plus 11. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Insider advantage is a more pro-Republican pollster. But any new Alberta updates? I was gonna do a video. I didn't end up doing a video on it today. There's New York Times put out a big story on Alberta, but it was just basically summarizing everything. There was nothing new to it. I guess they hadn't done a video on Alberta separation, so they basically just did a video repeating everything on and just summarizing the situation. Or they did a article, excuse me, summarizing the situation. I saw that came up today, and I was like, oh, this is some new information, but it really wasn't. I just think that was their first article on Alberta secession. You understand why Elon Musk doesn't want to really be in politics anymore. Hopefully, when he's out, he still donates. Yeah, I think he will still donate to Republicans. To me, I think he's burnt out. And like with someone like Musk, who has multiple huge companies, getting into politics is going to negatively affect your bottom line. It's just the reality. You're going to alienate people. So you're going to sacrifice that. And Musk is trying to kind of lay low. You can tell. I mean, he's not tweeting as much. He said he was going to go back into working full time with Tesla, I believe. That's why the stock went way up. Phil, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the donation there. Anyone with a 20th of a brain should know that Carney and the liberals are never going to stand up for Trump. Elbows up. Remember that? Elbows up with Canada. Yeah, well, Cardi immediately removes the retaliatory tariffs like a week after the election, after the Canadian election. Did you see the New York governor poll? I did. I saw it last night on stream. It's interesting. I mean, I would you'd have to see more polling for it to confirm. But I mean, there's a chance. I mean, you saw what happened in New York in 2022 with those local races. What do you think about Ben Shapiro saying Israel should not share intelligence with the U.S. because we cannot be trusted? That's got to be a joke. Well, we should not share military aid with Israel because they drag us into wars. I mean, isn't that the proper response? Come on. What do you, isn't that the definition of biting the hand that feeds you? Did you see Rogan with Rogers' podcast? Aaron Rodgers was on Rogan. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard he didn't talk about his future though. Aaron Rodgers was doing this weird thing where everyone thinks he's going to the Steelers, but there's been no official announcement of it. Let me get this light on. There's been no announcement of it, so you know it stays light out later now. Though we've had an issue with the oh, that's not even what I wanted. A lot of rain, a lot overcast rain, 50 degrees. I like it. It's better than 80 and sunny. I may have to move my office anyways. I just can't deal with the sunset into this room. It's terrible. It just superheats the room. Even though I've got these shades, I'd have to get like more shades to like block out the actual heat. You like the Lego collection? Yeah. Dude, I've got so many more sets that I just didn't build yet. That's the crazy thing. Some pretty cool sets, like bigger sets than what you saw. Did you see the new Georgia Senate polls? No, I haven't seen them. Heard Bryant Kemp was not running. You should do an overlay with the stock market graph and see if they line up. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. It's the economy, dude. It's always the economy with this approval shit. I mean, unless there's something crazy that happens in the world, it's the economy. Whether it's inflation, whether it's stock. I mean, it's indicators or just the economy in general. The economy struggles, the stock market goes down, the approval rating goes down. Would you ever do a 9/11 video about the would-be hijackers that got caught trying to enter the U.S. that were supposed to be the 20th hijacker? Well, I want to do a video and look into the fifth plane, supposedly. There's rumors that there was going to be a fifth plane. I don't know how true that is, but I don't think it's very true. Just based off of how the attack happened and the amount of and how the hijackers got recruited, but there was rumors that there was a fifth plane that was grounded. There were a few different planes that had false flags that they thought had hijackers on and they were cleared. You should open up a PO box. I wouldn't want to do it at this address. I wouldn't want. Oh, I guess you don't have to. You're right. You just send it to the PO box. Goes to what, UPS, and then I just get the packages from there. But I don't know. I don't think I'm popular enough for that. Do you stream on Twitch? No, I don't. Doesn't make sense for me to stream on Twitch. At least I don't think it does, because I mean it's more of a revenue thing with Twitch when you stream because of the Prime subs. But I would rather grow my YouTube. Like I have nothing on Twitch. I have no clout or anything, so it doesn't really make sense. In Washington state news, the governor signed the highest tax increase in a long time for the state. It's a liberal government. Is the 20 trillion added to the deficit numbers a real estimate? No, it wasn't like 2.3 trillion over the course of is it seriously 20 trillion over how long? Because right now we're at around, I think it's going from 2.3 to 2.7 or something per year. The deficit. The problem is that the bonds spiked. I think mainly because the new bill that Trump's passing. It's gonna heighten the debt, unfortunately. And at some point, that's going to have to be. I mean, he's trying to cut into it a little bit with some of these things, but the entitlements have to be completely restructured, and they're not. You don't touch the two biggest entitlements. You barely touch Medicaid, but you remove a lot of the supposed illegals on it. I don't know what it is, but they're saving money on Medicaid, but they're not touching Social Security or Medicare. The problem is, I mean, we're going to enter it. I don't think we're going to get there because it's just somebody's going to step in at some point. Right now, we're not on the edge, but Trump can get away with doing this, all of these tax cuts and stuff, and this is going to stimulate the economy. The economy is going to do very well, but people still say, well, the debt's just going and ballooning out of control. But at a certain point, if 25 to 30% of our budget is for servicing the debt because of the interest on the debt is so crazy, that's when you enter a debt spiral. And that's what we need to avoid. I think it's 13% right now, but it's going to keep going up. That's the problem. I mean, our debt is insane. But we have a better debt to GDP ratio than Japan. That's why everyone talks about how shitty of a situation Japan's in. Their debt and they have the most foreign US debt, and that's why everyone says they're going to sell all of their bonds and treasuries, and then that would spike the bond market if it happens. But everyone's talking about the yield. The yield's at like what 4.7, 4.8%. I think it's a non-story. I think it'll go back down. It was a lot of the fear with the bill because it's going to raise the debt. That's what I think. When would any government touch the entitlements at this rate? Well, they're going to have to be touched. If we're paying 20% in servicing debt, you have to touch them at that point. But I mean, you can restructure them as well. And there's certain things you can do that would really not affect the vast majority of people that are getting the entitlements because everyone gets Social Security. I mean, you can do something to adjust that very easily, I feel. If you make over a certain threshold, you're not going to, I mean, and you don't want to do that because you don't want to reward people in a capitalist society or you don't want to punish people for succeeding. But it's like, we can't, number one, Social Security this is the problem with Social Security. It was set up in 1935. The current system that we have in terms of population, all of these different variables, they're completely different. It's worker to retiree ratio. That's the problem. And we never changed it. We never adapted to the difference that we're seeing to where for every retiree, there were 5 workers. Now it's every retiree, there's 2.5 workers, I think. Or it might be something different than that. But it's less. So when you've got something like that and you're not changing it, it's going to pile up. And they had a fund to where, they had a surplus within Social Security. Like the nest egg had a surplus. And it's going to run out in 2033. That's why they talk about having to restructure the Social Security. But I mean, the Social Security, it's like, what, a 6% tax? It's almost better to just have the government invest it or something, or have people, because it doesn't do anything. It just sits. You're paying this tax, and then the money goes straight to old people. The tax that you pay on Social Security, it just. You don't care about trillions in debt anymore. Boomers passed it to us, and we're passing it to the next generation. Don't care anymore. Well, you're not going to be able to do that. The debt's going to get to the point to where if you're paying 30% of your budget on servicing the debt because of interest, you're gonna face some serious repercussions. It's gonna get insurmountable to the point to where they're gonna have to have a forced auto correction. I don't think we could ever become insolvent because we print our own money, but it's going to get to the point to where, and I don't think they'll let it get to that point because that point wouldn't happen for another 15 to 20 years. So that's why Trump has this runway and everyone's like, well, he shouldn't be doing this. But it's like, if you've got a runway and I want Trump to do this, I really do. This is selfish, but I'm in the market. I'm in crypto. We're right on the edge of I think a massive run because of just the way the 4-year cycle is in crypto. Especially an altcoin run. I mean, Bitcoin's been doing well for like the past 3 years. or 2 years. Ever since what did it have its bottom in 2022, summer of 2022, if I remember. And it's not really Bitcoin; it's the altcoins that we need. We need money to be dumped into Ethereum, and Ethereum is starting to revive, and we're starting to see swings that we haven't seen in a while in terms of Ethereum and some of these altcoins. It hasn't really trickled into my meme coins yet, but that's the lower cap meme coins come last in terms of that. So you gotta wait a while for it. But like Bitcoin reaches a high this fall, and then the alts follow in the winter. How come Trump called out Massey? What's the alternative? Higher spending and the old tax bill expires. What's the alternative? Higher spend. Oh, you're saying you loved how Trump called out Massey? Yeah, I mean Massey is just grifting off of this at this point. He's got the anti-Israel stuff, and he doesn't really want to solve anything. I understand the idea of listen, we can't have this, but it's like it's hard because we're at the point to where we can still kind of supercharge the economy. I mean, we have high rates right now and low inflation. We have the inflation down. So I haven't looked at Trueflation recently. It might have spiked a little bit because of the energy prices, but if we have inflation down, I mean, Trump's brought inflation down through economic uncertainty because of the tariffs. That's the real reason why inflation came down. The inflation was going up during Biden's lame duck period. I believe it was. Yeah, it was, and then at least you look at the Trueflation, it was going up. Because remember, they cut in September. The Fed is so ridiculous. I just can't believe the Fed cuts in September. It's like the most obvious thing ever. They're trying to stimulate the economy. September, October, there's the election. Such fucking bullshit. Now there's lower inflation. They won't cut anything. And I understand there's more uncertainty because the reason the inflation is lower could be attributed to the tariffs, that they say it's uncertain and they might cause inflation, so we can't cut rates yet. We have to wait for the trade deals and all this. But it's like, now I understand why they're not cutting yet, but at some point they need to cut. And you know what? Cutting will also help the yield. Trump's crypto dinner tonight looks like a cesspool of people looking for favors. Yeah, it's a mess, man. Remember those crypto dinners have got to be just they got to be just total leech farms. Would a Democrat president actually touch Social Security, or would they take another Republican or even independent? I think the Democrats would just raise taxes significantly to try and service the debt. I mean, normally it's a combination of the two. It's balancing. You raise it, but I mean, raised taxes. It's like Trump cutting all these taxes though is, with a $2 trillion deficit, right? Raising the military budget by 150 billion. I mean, you could kind of explain it away if your tariff revenue is like 300, 400 billion. Because I've done math on the tariff revenue. Right now, I mean, it's supposedly going to be around 400 billion, but I saw experts' projections. They said no, it's about 250 billion. You can't really predict the tariff revenue because you don't know how companies are going to react. Because a company could say, well, we're going to produce domestically, and there goes revenue, which is a good thing, but you're going to lose revenue if they start producing domestically. Social Security will need to be restructured somehow in the 2030s. We don't have enough workers to fund the current boomers retiring. I think it has to probably be restructured even before the 2030s, man. I'm guessing it's going to be a huge issue leading up to the 2028 election is Social Security, as boring as that sounds. Do you believe the spending bill will add 3 trillion to the deficit? Well, the spending adds to the deficit because of the cuts. And also the I mean, he upped spending on the military pretty significantly. But I mean, you do tax cuts, that's less revenue. I mean, maybe they'll make up for it in terms of the output. Also, you would hope unemployment would go down. companies have more money, they can expand. I mean, that's what happened during Trump's first term. Why are you ignoring your favorite president, Donald Trump 4547? That's the first time I've seen that, the Donald Trump account. Social Security is like hot potato. Let me see this one. This Social Security is like hot potato politics. Everyone is trying to pass it, but somebody will get stuck with it and will look to people who don't understand. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if you're Trump, because like, you want to know the big problem? I mean, you could say, well, Trump has 4 years. Well, he really has like a year and a half because it's the lead up to the midterms. You don't want to be in a place to where it's like you're doing anything too politically disruptive. Like, but this is just how our system is, unfortunately. There's no runway to correct things in the economy. What I would say is you probably need like a 3 or 4 year forced correction, which I don't want, honestly, just because we want really good things to happen within the next 12 months. But I think with the debt situation and everything, you probably need a multi-year forced correction. These things take time, but you don't have time. There's no runway. There's no runway. You can't have if you have a shit economy in mid 2026, you're fucked. You're going to lose the midterms. You'll still keep the Senate. The Republicans will, just because they have such a huge advantage, but you're going to lose the House by a lot. I mean, you're already up against it with these midterms, the way they work. I mean, the party that's in power normally does worse. The only reason the Democrats did okay, they still lost like the generic ballot popular vote in 2022, but they did better than expected because the Roe v. Wade sham bullshit. And they bitched and moaned about it, but that was the reason they did well, was because of that ruling in the summer of 22. Thank you for the donation. We need to reinvest into the space program for asteroid mining, space gold, space oil, space cast, space marines, etc. I don't know if we have the technology for asteroid mining right now, but yeah, I mean, asteroids have a ton of value. That 100%. When I was younger, I looked into that, at like looking out asteroid belts and mining off of them. But a lot of it is like, if you can think about it, if we have the technology to mine asteroids, we could probably get solar panels in space and just be able to get unlimited energy. That's what it's going to come down to. We have an unlimited energy source in the sun. And at a certain point, once you get solar panels orbiting and you're able to transport that energy to Earth, you'll just have unlimited energy all the time. The sun is unlimited energy, but we just have to be able to harness it. It's through evolution we'll be able to. Who do you think is going to win the NBA championship title? Who do you pick? Here are the teams: Timberwolves, Thunder, Knicks, Pacers. I would probably say Thunder. I mean, it's the most obvious one. The Thunder are the best team, but I'd probably say Thunder. Dude, I saw this Gulf of Mexico versus Gulf of America. Do you guys know this dude, Kyle Kalinske? This dude uses his account. He just tweets out like boomer Facebook memes, and it always triggers conservatives. But I was looking at this, and then somebody said, Mexico has a higher obesity rate than the United States. And I was like, that's got to be impossible. But apparently it's true. All they do is drink Coke in Mexico, Coca-Cola. Based. Work requirements, Medicaid changes, proposed bill. Uh, yeah, I think it's based off of a bunch of illegals getting free, siphoning off Medicaid. They're eliminating it. That's what I thought it was. You worry about the Golden Dome even after we pay for it. It destroys Russia's nuclear deterrent. Completely unknown what Putin would do. I mean, we have to protect ourselves against nuclear bombs. I think that's fair. But I mean, it would protect just our country. It wouldn't protect Europe. All right, let's try and find some videos. Oh, this video, and here it is. Here's the spat.
Yamish, good to see you.
Hi, good. Thanks for taking the question.
Sure.
The president showed a video that he said showed more than 1,000 burial sites of white South Africans that he said were murdered. We know that that was not true and that the video wasn't showing that. So I wonder, why did the president choose
What's
to show
not
that?
true, Yamish?
It's not true that the video was showing a burial site. It is unsubstantiated that that's the case.
No, it is true that that video showed the crosses that represent.
Which is what the president claimed.
The video showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin. And those crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead and their government did nothing about it. Are you disputing that there's no...
I'm disputing the fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
No, it did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
Verifies the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to show?
Yamish, what's unsubstantiated about the video? The video shows crosses that represent the dead bodies of people who were racially persecuted by their government. In fact, the Associated Press, of all places, has a picture of that very monument, and the caption from the Associated Press is, "Each cross marks a white farmer who has been killed in a farm murder." So it is substantiated, not just by that video and the physical evidence that everybody saw on display in the Oval Office, but also by another outlet in this room, the Associated Press. So you should take it up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated, and that's a ridiculous line of questioning.
Yeah, so what she was trying to get the administration on was the fact that Trump called it burial sites. Technically, they're not burial sites, but they represent farmers that have been killed. White farmers that have been killed. So he was like, this weird, I gotcha. Robert, thank you for that. Asteroid mining isn't a question of technology, but one of infrastructure. Yeah, but it's also tech. I mean, the asteroids are very far away. That seems like it's out of our... I mean, it could be a combination. I guess you could argue space travel. Although space travel is a problem with technology. We don't have the technology to travel fast enough. She's devastated. Whites are getting attention for being attacked. I know, but it's like the story is it's 59 white refugees. After all that we went through, our demographic changes, our demographics have gotten just destroyed, utterly obliterated. People don't realize this. I don't. It is remarkable. You tell people this. The country was 90% white in 1960. It's 61% white now. That's a country with a population well over 300 million. To see a change like that, it's like unheard of to see that big of a change. And they still want to like gaslight us on like bringing in 59 white immigrants. Wow. Oh my goodness. I know there's possibly going to be more white refugees, but there are communist black groups in South Africa who publicly say kill the white farmer. Oh yeah, I know. But it's been going on for a while there. That's their other spin, is they say, well, it's been going on a while, so that makes it okay. But they'll never, with what's going on in South Africa, they already have just exponential murder rates, and it's only going to get worse there. I mean, you can see the before and after with South Africa. It's a Rhodesia 2.0. In a sense, it is a burial site. Well, yeah, not physical. There's not like, it's not like graves, but it's an honor thing. They were honoring them with the crosses to show. Do you think you'll ever talk about the Great Replacement? Well, I mean, go look at the Hillary Clinton video I did. I mean, she admits it. You should be recommending everyone your feminism in the 60s video. Which video is that? DJ, thank you for that. Only a fool would leave his farm in South Africa to live as a refugee in America. We've got a different. I'm not gonna get into that, but I'd rather live in the United States than a place where I mean, whites are 7% of the population in South Africa. I mean, I guess if you're on a farm, you've got a lot of land and stuff, but South Africa is a very dangerous place. Is Phoenix bad now? It was one of the most beautiful cities in the country. I think a lot of the major cities have just gotten, because of the demographic shifts, have just become complete cesspools. I mean, I never been there, but I just wonder how much of a cesspool Atlanta is. Atlanta just feels like it's a fucking cesspool. I mean, all the major ones everyone talks about is San Francisco, Chicago, New York. I guess LA. But New York is insane. I don't know if you've seen the Knicks fans. These people are just out of control. New York. Just look at the Knicks fans on the streets. I mean, they were probably pissed after that loss last night, but do you guys know Caroline Levitt got a nose job? Yeah, all these women, they get a bunch of shit done to their face. They all do. Dems gaslighting 59 white farm immigrants, but are used blatantly for cheap labor for the Latin immigrants. Yeah, no, and they talk about, well, who's going to pick the crops and stuff, and that's what they talk about. They say it's like this great big gotcha. Well, we're going to deport all the illegals, so they're not going to be able to do landscaping. Isn't that a problem for us? I mean, isn't that our problem that we have to deal with? The first problem is getting them out. But a lot of it's over embellished. It's fear mongering. Cleveland 1, Boston 2, Florida 3. What is that? What even is that? You have so many New York transplants where you live. You probably live in Florida if that's the case. Or North Carolina. Atlanta has nice parts. Midtown is pretty damn nice. What you'll get with major cities is you will get some really nice areas for sure. I mean, there have to be. These cities they're large cities, so you're gonna get some nice parts, but you're gonna get some really bad parts. And just overall, it's when the bad parts overwhelm and mix into the nice areas. Like Chicago has really nice areas. I mean, if you have a city that big, there's gonna be nice areas for sure. Who's gonna mow your lawn? Republicans. What I think white dudes mow my lawn, but that is what they say. Do you like your place in Ohio? Yeah, it's a decent area, I guess. It's really liberal, but Boston has really nice places. Yeah, a lot of these major cities have nice places, but Boston, Massachusetts is different. It's liberal, but the demographics are different than a normal liberal state. Would you ever stream on Kick? I don't really see the point. I have no following on Kick. It doesn't really. Makes sense. I'd get less views. Do you go to Kings Island or Cedar Points? Cedar Point over Kings Island. Do Democrats have any policies? Yeah, their policies are they like raising taxes. They like DEI policies. Albertans will mow your lawn soon. I don't know. They're a rich province, Alberta. One of your favorite big cities, metropolitan areas, is Salt Lake City, Utah. They use a grid system, and their streets are laid out like a coordinate grid: north, south, east, west. Yeah, Utah. I heard Utah's getting an influx of liberals, but they're still conservative. Mm-hmm.
Last night in Washington, something horrific happened. A brutal terrorist shot in cold blood a young, beautiful couple, Yaron Lishinsky and Sarah Milgram. Yaron had just bought an engagement ring for Sarah. He was planning to give it to her in Jerusalem next week. They were planning to start a new and happy life together. Well, that tragically did not happen. Yaron and Sarah weren't the victims of a random crime. The terrorist who cruelly gunned them down did so for one reason and one reason alone. He wanted to kill Jews. And as he was taken away, he chanted, "Free Palestine." This is exactly the same chant we heard on October 7th. On that day, thousands of terrorists stormed into Israel from Gaza. They beheaded men, they raped women, they burned babies alive, they butchered 1,200 innocent people and took 251 innocent people hostage to the dungeons of Gaza. A short time afterwards, Chancellor Scholz of Germany visited Israel. And after he saw the horrors, he said to me, "These Hamas terrorists are exactly like the Nazis." He was right. And if they could get away with it, these Hamas terrorists would have slaughtered every last Jew on earth. For these neo-Nazis, Free Palestine is just today's version of Heil Hitler. They don't want a Palestinian state. They want to destroy the Jewish state. They want to annihilate the Jewish people who've been in the land of Israel for 3,500 years. I could never understand how this simple truth evades the leaders of France, Britain, Canada, and others. They're now proposing to establish a Palestinian state and reward these murderers with the ultimate prize. Well, for
Yeah, did you hear about that? There's some of these countries in the West. The United States hasn't come out in support of it, but they want to recognize it, and I guess they want a two-state solution. And so they're trying to use this murder as propaganda against that. Basically, that's what Israel's doing. I mean, it's just like, we don't like when anyone gets killed, but we've seen this story before. Nine Lives, what's up, man? So the couple was recent, like a few days ago. It was last night. And it was some socialist, Palestine person. That's why they're blaming Hassan, because it was like cut from his cloth. It was a left wing person. Will Nevada's U.S. Senate seat flip red in 2028? I don't know, man. I guess to me, a lot of that depends on down ballot. So it depends on what Trump's approval's at, the Republican nominee. Yeah, this was that poll. If someone offered you money for your autograph, would you do it? I don't think my autograph is worth anything yet. Do you like the new college football format? They had to change it. Yeah, the conferences are really unbalanced in college football, so you can't give the Big 12 and the ACC. Well, I guess they don't, but just the way they did it was dumb. So they're changing it to just the 12. The way the seating works, it's not based off of every conference. Only one team from every conference can get a bye. So that's gone away now. They had to do that. They had to remove that because the seating last year was so bad. They change it every year now. They're going to change it again next year. They're going to go to the what would it be, 14-team playoff? I think they're going to go to the 14-team playoff. Or is it already a 14-team playoff? No, it's a 12-team playoff. What would stop Vance from getting the nomination? Probably like a rise of a Tulsi, maybe. Vance maybe not wanting it, maybe not polling as well. Things like that. Vance having a falling out with Trump, certainly, but I can't see that. It's so rare for a VP. War with Iran seems all but inevitable. Trump can't do that, man. He just can't. But honestly, it really is not. I mean, dude, the thing is, I know there's a lot of these, these people that they're not rooting for it, but there's a lot of people that want to be proven right on Israel, so they want Trump to do this so they'll look better. I mean, even if you look at this, I still think it's like, and it's not a perfect thing, but Israel military action against Iran, 29% chance. This is before July. U.S.-Iran nuclear deal, 56% chance. U.S. military action against Iran, 14% chance. I don't really see it. I mean, from everything that Trump has said, it seems unlikely. Trump really wants to get some type of deal done. I know there's an argument right now to where they don't want him to have any uranium enrichment, and Iran wants 3%. So that would have to be worked out. They're having another round of talks, their 5th round of talks. That's happening tomorrow, actually. New format rewards Notre Dame. Yeah, that's true, because you don't have to be a conference champion now to get a bye. Notre Dame still plays a pretty tough schedule anyways. The other thing that's happening in college football, the conference championship games are becoming obsolete. They're just obsolete at this point. They're just for money. They're for money. They're a waste of time, and potentially you talk about injuries now with these conference championship games. Nobody's going to want to play in these conference championship games. An NCAA coach said he wants a 40-team playoff. Yeah, that's got to be a troll. That's not. You're not allowed to. You can't do that. There's too many games. How does the Lincoln Project call Don Bacon MAGA when he's the exact opposite of MAGA? The Lincoln Project is deranged. They're just TDS liberals repackaged as like these former reformed conservatives that hate. I mean, it's all the same shit with these people. None of it's unique. Iran has been close to having nukes for 40 years, fear mongering. I don't know about that. I mean, if they actually are at 60% enrichment, then they basically have it already, or they're close enough to where they could have it within a month. And it's measured too. They have to submit it to like a committee, their enrichment levels. It doesn't matter if Trump doesn't want war with the entire government is controlled by the Israeli lobby. I mean, dude, honestly, I'll be honest with you. Israel has influence. I think you're overstating it. I know the fear mongering is like a big thing, but I think you're overstating Israeli influence. I mean, here's a good thing. They talk about the amount of money that Trump got from Jewish people in 2024. Hillary got like 95% of the Jewish money in 2016, but Trump won. I just think there's a lot of fear mongering, man. I understand Israel has a lot of influence. But a lot of it is like over the top. If Maine or New York had a vote, they would probably join us. They'd probably join. I don't know. I don't think anyone's joining Canada, man. with what army? But liberal states might. Liberal states might if they rage quit. But no, they wouldn't. It doesn't make sense for any state. Maybe Hawaii. But then they'd lose like a bunch of fucking federal funds. They can't do that. You ever have those little chocolate bottles with whiskey or brandy in them? I don't think I've ever had that. No, I never had that. I don't really like alcohol, man. You think Israel will go at it alone versus Iran? They would have to have talks fall apart to be able to do it between the U.S. and Iran. How about Carrie Lake for U.S. Supreme Court? She'd probably somehow lose. I mean, she's lost a lot in Arizona. AOC complains that President Trump's big beautiful bill will defund Planned Parenthood. Well, I mean, we need to defund some things, honestly. But I mean, the Democrats always fearmonger all this stuff and say, "Oh, it's getting taken away," and then nothing ever gets taken away. We need stuff to get taken away because it's just we have such a crazy. There's obviously not going to be much that gets taken away if we're running up the fucking debt more. So I don't even know what they could fearmonger off of. It's like they fearmonger shit gets taken away, but then they say the debt's getting run up. Okay, well, don't you find life boring? No weed or alcohol? I would just sit in jail. Well, that's not a great. If you're that obsessed with those substances to where That's probably not a good thing, man. Yeah, the Thunder are the heavy favorite, man. The Thunder are just massive favorites. These other teams, they had the best regular season record. Alcohol is poison. There's literally lots of things bro, alcohol. If I can't drink alcohol, I'd go to jail, dude. I mean, come on, man. That's, you might have an addiction. Too much political talk. What do you think of the chances of Saints' obvious bid to get Arch Manning next year? Yeah, well, isn't it like such a great fit for him? Staying south. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be like the Saints and the Browns. I think the Saints probably will definitely try and they'll probably go like 2-15, 3-14 maybe. I don't really think the Browns are gonna try and tank like the Saints are, but the Browns will be really bad as well. To me, it's the Browns and the Saints. Those are the teams possibly getting him. The Browns might end up with the number 2 pick. The Browns have 2 first-round picks next year, though. Doomsday clock is close. Yeah, it's always close. It's always T-minus 5 seconds to midnight. We moved it to 19 seconds. The Doomsday clock is a grift. They move it by half a second just so they can say they moved it. Next, they're going to be like, we've moved. It's going to be at 59 minutes and 59 seconds. We moved it 1/4 of a second. And it's like big news. How about the reports that BC, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan conspiring to leave together? I don't know about that. I never heard that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, that's Western Canada. But I wouldn't think that's very realistic. I mean, Alberta's the most conservative one, and they don't even have 50% support to leave. So how would the other provinces come close to that? Unless there's something catastrophically wrong with Ottawa and their government to where it would make sense for them to all leave. You could see Arch refusing the Browns, to be honest. Yeah, me too. I could see that as well. But I just think the Saints will probably get the number 1 pick. They'll be bad enough. Sean, what's up? The whale enters. The whale enters. Yeah, I'll go to rapid response. That was from Saudi. Melania Trump puts out a statement on the Israelis that got murdered. Make America Healthy Again report. Can we have ChatGPT to summarize this? I guess it's not, it doesn't look, is there like a full report?
The report is
Yeah, I gotta take a piss. I'll just play this.
the report is the beginning of a conversation. It's the first time in American history that all of government, the entire cabinet, most of whom participated in drafting this report or commenting on it, all reached a consensus. And the consensus is that we're in the middle of a chronic disease epidemic that is existential for our country. We spend $4.5 trillion a year on our health care. That's 2 to 3 times more than any European country spends. And yet we live 6 years less than they do. This is the first generation of American kids that is going to live shorter lives than their parents. They're going to live less happy lives. They're going to live less healthy lives. We are literally the sickest country in the world. And we know what the causes are. President Trump asked us to identify them. We're looking at chemical exposures, over-processed food, lack of exercise, and other indicators. 100 days or 60 days from now, we will publish a group of policy initiatives to end this epidemic in our country.
Well, that was RFK, I think, saying something there. Let's see what this is.
Last night, Republicans in the House passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the most significant piece of legislation in years. There were a lot of good faith negotiations in the Republican conference leading up to the final passage, but as always, President Trump came in at the end to bring all sides together and get this deal done. This One Big Beautiful Bill will implement President Trump's Make America Great Again agenda by delivering the largest tax cut in American history for middle-class families, the working class, and small businesses. The One Big Beautiful Bill fulfills President Trump's promises of no tax on tips, which was applauded today by the CEO of Uber, no tax on overtime, a Made in America auto tax break, Trump savings accounts for newborn babies, and substantial tax cuts for our amazing seniors' Social Security benefits.
So it's a lot of stuff there. There's a donation. You're not sold on Arch yet. Couldn't beat out Ewers last year. Don't see the cannon arm. Think he should stay 2 years. You know, there's been a lot of talk of Arch staying for 2 years at Texas. You know, with the NIL stuff, it almost makes sense instead of rushing your development to go to the NFL and then not being ready year one and just getting crushed as a rookie, because most QBs go in year one and they're terrible. So it may make sense. And he's going to get a huge, like if Texas is really good next year, they give him a bunch of money to stay with NIL. That's why with NIL, some players stay for longer, because it just makes sense. Plus someone like him who hasn't really started yet. We'll never get out of the debt. Show Brett Cooper. Yeah, there's like a Piers Morgan clip or something. God, this search thing is terrible. It's AIDS. It like shows things from like 3 weeks ago. Like May 5th. It's the 22nd. Literally have to search the full fucking thing.
You said Trump the comedian, you said on X, is a generational talent. And I thought you absolutely hit the nail on the head. Is a lot of people, especially young people, and my son's 31, 27, 24, they find him hilarious. He's a genuinely funny guy. Now, that doesn't excuse some of the stuff he does, which I completely disagree with, or that he gets wrong, or some of the way he talks about any of those things. It's just he has natural comic timing. He's very sharp in the moment and very funny. And you can't get away from it. And when I see liberals, my sort of more woke liberal friends, when I see them trying so hard not to laugh, it's almost like they're trying not to literally bust a gut. You know, they're just trying too hard not to laugh. When you just laugh, it's funny.
Yeah. And I think that really is what's missing from our culture and from society, is that you can hate the man, but he is exactly what he says that he is. He's never tried to be anything he's not. And so you can dislike his policies, you can disagree with him, you could not want to vote for him, but you can't admit that he's not funny, that he's not having a great time. I think that you are absolutely correct. I did an interview with Laura Trump just a couple of months ago, and I was talking with her, and I was like, how is he doing? And she was like, Brett, he's better than ever. Yeah. Like you're like having so much fun. He's truly enjoying this. The weight has been lifted. He feels like he has a second chance. He has so many great ideas. He knows what he's doing. And he's genuinely just having fun. And I see that every single day, whether it's with, you know, an interaction that he has with a reporter or something that he's posted on Truth Social. And I think that really spoke to young people, because during the campaign, his team day in and day out was on X, was on TikTok,
Yeah.
was out making memes and amplifying how
Yeah.
funny he was. And you would read the comments, and all of these young people, whether it was, just a TikTok or it was the entire, hilarity of him being in a dump truck or whatever it was, or serving at McDonald's, they just couldn't look away. Because for the first time, young people were saying, this is somebody I can actually relate to. He's not pandering to me. He's not.
Yeah, well, all right, we get it. You should slide into her DMs. You're big enough. I think she's pregnant. She's married to some dude. She's pregnant too. That's what people were saying. Thoughts on Texans wanting a new stadium? Well, they want a renovation. So right now they're more so looking for a renovation. We'll see what happens. I think that stadium looks bad. It needs to be redesigned. But yeah, they're saying about a 1 million or 1 billion, maybe 1.2 billion dollar renovation for that NRG. I think they're going to go with the renovation. But I mean, that stadium is in a precarious spot. It's right next to the Astrodome. The Astrodome's a shithole. If I was the ownership, I would be like, get me the hell out of here. I don't want to be next to this monstrosity of a stadium, so I don't know what'll happen. Isn't she married and pregnant? That's what I said. I thought people said she was pregnant. I don't know. Is Piers Morgan drunk? I mean, Piers is just like, this whole interview is a whole bunch of nothing. It's like, oh, Trump is funny. Like, I don't know. What is the actual substance of this? Destiny was on Piers Morgan. Oh boy, was it good? Piers is a closet gay conservative. Piers just does the same shit that Asmongold does, that Joe Rogan. They're cut from the same cloth. These are like people that are independent but very slightly right wing on some issues, basically. And so the public sees them like, I guess, more conservative. But these are like, you call them independent people. They swing on whatever issue, you know. Talk about Hawaii Stadium. I don't know what's going on there. They have no money to fund that stadium. They had to downscale it several times. I think they're finally building it now. It's a mess. That situation's a mess. You know, their old stadium, that old stadium, Aloha Stadium, was a shithole. I think it was like sinking into the ground. They deemed it not safe. You couldn't play there anymore, they said. But they had like this weird AstroTurf at Aloha Stadium. He debated Michael Knowles. Michael Knowles is someone that seems like a pretentious, the proper word for Michael Knowles is pretentious. It really is. Because it like fits him so well. I don't know. I don't have anything against Michael Knowles, but every time it's always like, it seems like it's an effort when he's talking. It's like he tries to sound extremely, maybe that's just his speaking pattern. I don't know. Asman does support things like UBI and class-based affirmative action. Yeah, it's the same thing with Rogan to a degree. They're like independents. They support both things. If there was no substance, then why the fuck did you play it? Because I can't see into the future. Do you want me to? They told me to play it. They said there's big, so I played it for them. Do you think I can fucking read Piers Morgan's mind and know exactly what they're going to be discussing for 2.5 minutes? The cowboy liberals. Well, I mean, if you're a liberal and you have a cowboy hat, that's got to add at least 100 IQ points. Remember that dude? He has a fucking cowboy hat and he's a liberal. Holy shit. This is next level. Just finished watching your 9/11 snow video. What a niche video that is, right? The 9/11 snow video. Yeah. Well, that happened. The planes hit the buildings and a bunch of paper ejected. That was like the first 15, 20 minutes after. There's a bunch of paper falling all over the place. And then it kind of settled, and that's why when the buildings collapse, you really don't see much paper because at that point it had settled. South Africa, you're saying it's becoming you visit relatives there in South Africa? Dude, I hear it's I mean, aren't like some of the homes, don't they have spikes on top of them because of how bad it is? They have like spikes on top of the walls of the homes. It's real bad in South Africa. It's out of control. Yeah, I saw what happened with the Kim Jong Un warship. Apparently, it didn't. They were dropping it in the water. It got stuck or some shit. The warship that the North Korea commissioned. Where would Texans play during the renovation? Rice Stadium. I don't know, man. Rice Stadium is. They'd probably play at the University of Houston. It's still got like a capacity, I think, of like 45K. Rice Stadium is such a shithole. I don't think they'd want to play there. Do you really believe in climate change? Your thoughts are we've had these temps, but never recorded. Well, we did have a war. What was it? The medieval warming period. Yeah, but recently they say, well, it's the hockey stick graph, and it's mainly based off of manipulation to where they don't go back far enough to the medieval warming period to where it was warmer temperatures. Um, but a lot of it is control based, and a lot of it is not evenly handed out in terms of the CO2 emissions and things like that, to where Western countries get this crazy emphasis placed on them when you've got obviously China, but also India that have ridiculous CO2 emissions. I mean, China has worse CO2 emissions than us, and then they say, well, no, they have a much higher population. Well, I mean, it's the United States as well has, I mean, we our CO2 emissions are basically level anyways. We've leveled them out. Even under Trump, they were level. It wasn't like they went up any crazy amount. Now we're looking into nuclear energy. It was like that in Jamaica. Huge metal walls around a house with bars on all the windows. Yeah, I went to Jamaica on vacation, and you drive through the island. It's pretty crazy. Do you know the hurricane that almost stopped 9/11? Yeah. I believe I did a video on that a while ago. The CO2 emissions never made sense. Well, yeah, but they say there's the correlation. That's why. But I don't know. I mean, it's this Western propaganda for control. They don't bitch about China's at all. That's the problem. Assuming Vance runs in 2028, do you think Tulsi or Marco would be more of a VP? Well, I mean, it depends what Tulsi does in the administration. I think Tulsi would probably be better. Rubio will. I mean, a lot of this depends on how the administration handles Iran and Israel Palestine. A lot of Rubio's grade depends on the Middle East. Do you think you could make one 3-pointer in an NBA game? I mean, I could definitely make a 3-pointer. It might be tough to get off the shot. That's the problem. $10. Texans will play at Rice Stadium since it's greater capacity. Yeah, I don't think that. I think they'll sacrifice it. Rice Stadium's a shithole. It can barely accommodate Rice. You know, they would have to renovate it. It costs money. Piers just talks about woke and trend sports. You agree with him because that's common sense, but it's all he focuses on. It's slop, entry level, right wing stuff. Yeah, and then he's like really self righteous about some of the stuff, like that N word stuff, and I don't know, man. Piers is like he's a fence sitter, so he has the best of both sides. There's nothing he really defends. That's the thing. The trans stuff is the most obvious, but I mean it gets views. That's why people do it. That's why Charlie Kirk always has debates about that stuff. And it's also a horrible look for liberals to defend it. I'm gonna turn this on. I can barely see anything. That didn't even do anything. I guess it did something. South Africa is a wild place because the white neighborhoods are actually clean and everywhere else is kind of shit. The Indian neighborhoods were nice as well. The Indian neighborhoods where? In South Africa? Piers is a normie. Yeah, I mean when you host a massive show like this, a lot of it's gonna be just normal topics, culture wars is what it is. Bangladesh is the most disgusting country on earth. India looks like a beacon of. Yeah, I mean they're both terrible, but I have seen videos on YouTube of Bangladesh. They're just so poor. They're so poor. It's like India if it was poorer. Would you date a girl with a foot tattoo? Small. I mean, if it's only a foot tattoo, that's not a huge thing. If you've got like multiple tattoos, it's a big problem. It's just not gonna happen. If you've got tattoos on your arms, it's not. I'm not interested. Just tattoos are just a masculine look. I don't know how these women. Some women are like, oh, men are attracted to it. What? Tattoos are a sign of masculinity. It's a terrible look for women. They have Indians in South Africa. They really should have rebuilt the original Twin Towers. It didn't make sense. The towers design, the way they looked was obsolete. You're not going to want to rebuild them. And also, they'd be running into huge issues now. They can't even build the second tower. They built the One World Trade Center. They can't build the second tower because nobody wants the office space. They built the base of it, but it's an abandoned foundation. Do you know anyone from school that came out as transgender? I don't really know many people from my high school at all. But that would be weird, man. I guess that's how it is nowadays, right? But no, I don't know anyone. You always told yourself no tattoos on girls, but your girl has a small one and you don't mind. She's smoking hot. It's unreal. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if I can believe that. You trying to flex on us. But I mean, I guess it depends where the tattoo is at. India is a lot dirtier than Pakistan, though. It's not a debate. All metrics point to India being more unsanitary. Yeah, but they were talking about Bangladesh, not Pakistan. Yeah, Pakistan, I've seen photos. Pakistan looks cleaner than India, but I mean, a lot of it's just heavy population density within India. It's going to be dirtier. But India's brutal. I mean, look at the street food in India. If you go to India and get street food, you will automatically get sick. You don't think they're masculine unless she's got a full body of that shit, full arms? Yeah, but dude, you see, who's the girl? It's like either Tim Walz, it's either Kamala's like stepdaughter or Tim Walz, and they've got like these singular tattoos. It's the most disgusting thing ever. There'll be like a tattoo here, but it's small, but another one here. So it's not the full arm, but the singular ones, the full arm is it's just absolutely, there's no way. But even the singular ones, because it's like it almost looks worse. It looks like they've got like bugs on them or something, but they're tattoos. Like, I don't know how do people do that and they think it's like an expression? It just looks terrible. Like there should be a value in like a pure skin, like without the tattoo bullshit. I mean, it's like, oh, this is really meaningful to me, but why do that? Prayers for Scott Adams. Yeah, Scott Adams also had the same he came out and said that he had cancer similar to what Biden had with the prostate, and Trump called him. Trump called him twice. Came for the 9/11 content, stayed for the political stuff. Glad you're still putting out 9/11 content. Yeah, no, the 9/11 stuff is really a good asset for me. The political content doesn't give me it'll give me views, but there's nothing, after a day the video will die out. The 9/11 stuff is better in terms of being able to garner views in a way that, same thing with the Titanic to a degree. The videos will get views every day. Oh man. Yeah.
Free Palestine is just today's version of Heil Hitler.
South Africa. Yeah. Your relatives in South Africa are spending 200K on private security detail. The ANC was bad news. They are high crime ethno state. Yeah, I think you're just pulling shit out of your ass now. I think you're just making shit up. Your relatives are spending $200,000 on private security. Why don't they just leave? Who are these relatives? Do your 9/11 videos make money? The ones that I can monetize, which is like 70%, are able to be monetized. When was the last time you went to the movies? Maybe like a month ago. The woke virtue signaling on anti-Semitism has got to stop. The right has acknowledged it's woke as fuck when it comes to anti-Semitism and free speech regarding Jews. Yeah, I think people are just. I think it's. I mean, there was a race to say it was a false flag yesterday. There was a race on Twitter because everyone said it. I think people are. They just want to get the United States out of the Middle East, and there's not going to be a war with Iran. There won't be. It's fear mongering. Just got introduced to your videos. You're excellent, very enjoyable, great work. That's a nice comment. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm growing out my beard a little bit. I'm gonna grow out my beard to a certain point. And the problem is once my beard gets out, I don't have the coverage on it yet to, flex a very powerful beard. Some guys they get beard growth. It starts coming in their late 20s. They'll get more growth. My beard growth is not good enough to grow it out far. There's not enough coverage like right here or here. Why are so many liberals posting blue anon conspiracies about Trump's ear on X? Dude, there was such an amazing response to that. God, I wish I would have saved that tweet. But it was like it was like Trump calling Thomas Crooks and being like, "All right, make sure you miss me by a millimeter. You're a perfect shot." And you're gonna die known as a loser, like liberal. And then Thomas Crooks is like, "Yes, Mr. President, anything for you." It's like a meme. Coping about beard growth. Well, no, it'll grow longer. My beard will grow longer, but it doesn't grow in properly. But with guys, it takes a while. You'll send me that meme. Just put it under the comment on my most recent tweet. Showed some coworkers your videos, and now I catch them all the time watching and not working. That's bullshit. I mean, I don't need to be flattered that much. I don't need to be flattered that much. That's come on. I can tell when you're when that's a lie. Frame the beard, put it next to your YouTube play button. I'm going for the million. I tweeted out, I was like, I'm close to 1 million subscribers. And people were like, you're fucking delusional. Yeah, I'm gonna have to really kick it into gear soon to get some subscriber growth. 44 degrees in New Jersey tonight. Yeah, it's cold in the eastern side of the United States. I like it. I like when imagine it's like 30 degrees, 40 degrees at night. You can sleep. It's better. It's a lot better. But listen, I like when it's 60, 70 as well. So you like the both of it, but I don't mind necessarily when it's cold. Quebec nationalists announce if they win the next election, they'll hold a referendum within their first term. A referendum to leave? Oh man, that entire country is gonna be gone in 10 years. Top Chills, what's up, man? Ahmad enters. Can you do crypto stuff? You see Airball? Big TikTok meme. Oh, dude, my coins have really not done much personally. I'll take a look at it though. Is this what it is? 347K? Damn. Well, like, what was it at here? 11K. We got a runner. We got a runner. Imagine it'll jump to like 2 million. Yeah. We'll see if this does anything. Pizza coin. Bubble. Retard. Yeah, 347K, that's it. You have summer classes, so you've been inconsistent. Well, I mean, is it even summer yet? I guess it is. It doesn't. It still feels like spring, honestly. But you know, with the college stuff, it's different. You guys have different schedule. Misser. 150K. This is my kind of coin. This is my kind of coin. Man, this coin's been out a while. How long has this coin been out for? Oh, I had it on 4 hour chart. It's almost been out a year. It's been out like 10 months. 2 million is the high. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. You're all in on retard coin? You mean retardio? Trump went from working at McDonald's, Golden Arches, to being president and constructing the Golden Dome. McDonald's should invest in it for advertising. No, but you don't want to cheapen the Golden Dome by adding a McDonald's advertisement to it. The Golden Dome is an exclusive military investment. Strategic military. The Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. How much is the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve? Don't we have like 5% of the supply? No, Trump never bought it. God. We're supposed to have some of the supply. We need to get 5% of the Bitcoin supply. That gives us our strategic reserve. Then we can pay off the debt using it. You sent me it? Well, you're gonna have to. Because the thing is, this is a burner. It's not my actual account. If it's under here, I'll be able to see it though. Just put it under here. Put it under this tweet, and I'll be able to see it. Because this is I don't have I'm not it's not my official account here. That's a great buying opportunity. It's in the accumulation phase. Yeah, but I mean, its all-time high is like a freaking 2 million. It got down to 39K. I don't know. It depends if it has a good community. I do like base coins. This is the coin that I'm in. Based XPX. The based variant. I mean, I thought this coin was up. It was going to be trending at number 4. It's barely even up. It's actually down in the last 6 hours. Thanks for nothing. I'm like, I see it was trending. I was like, oh, sweet. It's starting to pick up. Let it pick up. Are you the only one that thinks Joy Behar is hot? You're starving, man. You're starving. I think you might be trans. It's in my DMs. I can't access them on this fucking computer. You seem to be objective and unemotional, mature in your video analysis. The Hillary one, for example. Do you engage with people IRL at work or friends who spout off anti-Trump or whatnot? No, I don't really. What do you mean, like debate people? I don't really debate people. That Hillary video was good. You guys should watch that. And that was really Hillary saying it, so I could come back with that. But a lot of it's like where I tame it down. Like, I tame it down significantly from what I really want to say. Because I like YouTube and stuff like that, and you don't want to have a problem with that, but... Dude, you gotta be like 17 or 18 if you still are going through that. You ever see a really hot chick and then immediately get the urge to jack off? I don't masturbate, man, anymore. I don't do it anymore. You know, when I was 17, 18, I could relate to something like that. You replied to the tweet? Well, this is like huge thing. We got to see this. This is like a covert operation. It got hit with a spam. Showtime. Remember, just glazed my hair. You're the best sniper in the world, so that should be easy. Walk in the park, sir. Oh, and you'll get your head blown off and be remembered as a retarded liberal, but I'll know you were a patriot. That's all that matters. Just reply to liberals with this. Remember, just glaze my ear. Graze my ear. Pete Hegseth went off. I didn't see Pete Hegseth. What, did he have a clip? It's starting to rain. It's raining hard. Familiar with the comedian podcast? Yeah, I know Tim Dillon. I think most people, most people know Tim Dillon's relatively popular because he's a Rogan, he's a Rogan guy. You had a hot pager, 94 degrees in Louisiana. That's terrible. There's no way it was 94 degrees. Really? Seems like the jet stream's a bit lower in the east. I find it hard to believe it got to 94. I can't even hear this.
It's interesting. The question is, I've gotten some criticism for hosting a Christian prayer service at the Pentagon yesterday. We said it very publicly. We said it very proudly. Appealing to heaven, to God, is a long-standing tradition in our military. I'm very proud that we're starting a monthly voluntary service at the Pentagon. George Washington was on bended knee with the troops, praying for God's providence and protection in that moment. Chaplains and ministers and Christians and people of faith across generations have prayed because of the business that we're in. I mean, the business of the 82nd Airborne, and you watch that 911 button for the country, is a dangerous one on behalf of all of us. And we appeal to God. I appeal to Jesus Christ for that protection. And we're going to speak that word and be open and willing to talk about that at the Pentagon. If they want to criticize that, they're on the wrong side of a very important issue. So thanks for coming with us today. We'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
Rutgers 9-win season. Rutgers football. I don't know. Do they have an easy schedule? Probably not. 9 wins is a lot for them. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this live stream. I am ending it here. The chat is down horrendous. That dude's trolling. He's talking about Whoopi being hot. Talking about Joy Behar, The View. There's a conservative woman on The View that's pretty hot. I don't know her name. All right, guys, make sure you like the stream on your way out. Go ahead and like the stream. I'll be seeing you.